history of male-oriented roles, as we all know. How much do you feel that your character of Ripley in the Aliens films has altered the direction that sci-fi films took from there on and going into development in giving females stronger roles, and perhaps your portrayals have opened the door for other female actresses?
Well, I certainly hope so, and I think we're always opening doors for each other. You know, everyone is always pushing the envelope more and more. I guess I don't feel there probably are enough strong roles for women, but I'm not sure there are enough strong and interesting roles for men too. You know, I think that's just one of the challenges of our business, is to make sure that these parts are as complicated and as interesting as they could be in the stories too. So I mean, I think, I'm not sure I answered your question.
No, that's fine. I'm sorry. I threw it out there. I was trying to interject. I won't do that again.
No, that's fine. No, I didn't prepare the answers. No, I just feel like, I hope we all kept the doors open for each other, and I certainly think there have been wonderful female characters. I don't really feel there have been as many as there could have been. I feel like we still have a long way to go in order to really reflect the world that we're in, to see women, really in the world the way they are, and probably actually more women need to be in the world in these important jobs like president. We need more women to help run things, because maybe it's time for the men to let women just take over for a while and see what they do. There are things that have to be done in the world, and I think women get things done.
So, changing gears just a little bit, Aliens, we'll have more Aliens questions, but I want to jump to some Ghostbusters questions. I want to start off because it's somber, and I think we were all very saddened, by the passing of Harold Ramis. I think the fans were very disappointed and felt for his family. Do you have a favorite memory of Mr. Ramis that you can share?
Harold was just such a lovely, lovely man, and I think I guess some people, he didn't want anyone to know he was ill. A few people knew, but I guess when we began the second Ghostbusters, I think my first scene was that scene where Egon is doing the terrible experiments with people behind those, in the different rooms, where he gives the little girl the puppy, and then he takes the puppy away, and has the, husband and wife getting a divorce in one room, and keeps turning the thermostat up. And the way Harold just, he had such a light touch. He had such elegance and wit, and he'd just say, and now take a puppy. It was just so, he made the whole thing feel so easy, and I felt so fortunate that on my first day, for my first scene in 2, that I got to do a scene with Harold, because he just made everyone feel so supported.
We've got numerous questions from many, many people out there for this one question, which we all know we're going to ask. And even though Mr. Ramis is not around, what are the chances that Ghostbusters 3 is finally going to get made?
Well, it's definitely going to happen. Ivan Reitman told me, but I think it may be a different movie than the original Ghostbusters 3 they were planning. I'm not sure that Ivan will direct it, and I'm not sure how much of a part the older actors would play with Harold gone. But I think they definitely want to do Ghostbusters with. They definitely want to do the movie. It's just what it will be like. I think they're having to sort of go back to the drawing board now a little bit.
So something to look forward to, guys. question is, we're all going to think it's someone, but it's not. Jason S. from Marengo, Saskatchewan. Who was the most... Did I get that right? Okay. No? It doesn't matter. This guy wants to know this question. Who was the most fun to work with on the Ghostbusters set?
Each and every one of those guys was just so funny, and they'd all worked at Second City together, and they were all about, if you give all the jokes to your partner, it's, the more generous you are, the better it is for the project. So we were all just always laughing all the time. I think a lot of pressure is put on Bill Murray if a scene was not playing the way Ivan wanted it to play. He'd say, all right, come on, Bill. He'd just snarl at him a little bit. And I remember that's how Bill came up with, when he walks into my apartment to see if there really is anything going on in my apartment that's supernatural. He lifted up the piano lid and did the little they hate that, That was just something he threw in because Ivan snarled at him slightly and said, come on, do something, Bill. So he was very good about that. It was just one of those wonderful films. That's why I actually love doing comedy, because really there are a lot of laughs. You're working with such great people. I felt the same way about Paul. People do these movies, they're so talented, and it's just such a treat to be around them. But they were all very funny guys, and they worked so beautifully together.
Excellent. Blake from Calgary. Was there a reason that you didn't have a voice cameo in Ghostbusters the video game?
Well, I might have been busy, and I'm not sure that I think I remember it coming up, but for whatever reasons I didn't do it. I've never seen it. Is it fun?
It's a lot of fans have said that it's almost like it's 3 because the 4 of them did do the voices, and it's a fully interactive game instead of a complete story, and you have to keep going through it. So it's a great entity. It's a great entity. So another thing, moving forward to some other projects. Marcy L. from Calgary. Sigourney, although you are best known for your straight-laced Ripley character, you've also done some amazingly funny work with Ghostbusters, as well as Paul and Galaxy Quest. Deep down, do you prefer comedy? Could we see some more of it?
I actually started as a comedian. That's why I always thought it was so funny that my first real job was Ripley, who's so serious. I always was in comedy, all through my early theater career, and that was sort of my saving grace. But it's actually very hard to find good comedies. It's harder, actually, I think, to write a good comedy than it is to write any other kind of script. So I think they're rare, and when they come along, you have to jump at them. But I'd love to do more comedy.
And there was another question in here, and I can't find it for some reason, but they're wondering, would there be a Galaxy Quest 2? Is that a possibility?
Well, that would have been fun, wouldn't it? Actually, Bob Gordon did write a Galaxy Quest 2, but I think he was disappointed. I don't know if you all know this, but what happened was we worked so hard on Galaxy Quest, and then without really telling anyone, the studio decided to bring it out against Stuart Little, the Mouse movie, for kids. They decided to make Galaxy Quest a kids movie, so they cut a lot of the scenes. There's a lot of, not R-rated stuff, but a lot of, kind of very, very funny stuff, especially with Alan Rickman, that was definitely risque and wicked, and they kind of just, they took all that out of the movie and then promoted it as a kids movie. I think that Bob Gordon and the director too, Dean Pariseau, well, none of us really appreciated that very much. we worked so hard, those scenes were so good. And so I think that I wanted it to happen because I wanted to see if Tim Allen would actually marry me. He says he would, but he always does that. It's evil.
Well, let me ask just, now I'm curious, you shot the scenes, they exist? So maybe like Dick Donner did for Superman 2, maybe they could come back and do the director's version of Galaxy Quest.
A lot of it was just like little snippets cut from other scenes. So they would take like, they took the adult part of it out in many different ways. It's too bad, because I love the movie so much. I think it's such a love letter to actors, to performers in this genre, and it's such a beloved movie. I would have loved to make another one. It's such a talented ensemble. We should have a Galaxy Quest reunion.
Kendrick Strong, if you're in the back, I hope you just heard what she said. We want a Galaxy Quest reunion here in Calgary. As long as you come back. I'd take it. So, we're going to talk about your directors a little bit. Jordan from Toronto. And again, guys, if I yell out your name, you can stand up, and if we see you, we'll wave at you. So Jordan from Toronto. And this is a toughie. Which director did you enjoy working with more? Ridley Scott or James Cameron? Should we skip that?
I just actually did another movie with Ridley Scott. The Book of Exodus, where I played an Egyptian queen with Christian Bale and anyway, there are a lot of us in it. But it was great to work with him again. He hasn't changed at all. He's just such a master. And then next year I'll do Avatar 2, 3, and 4 with Jim Cameron. So I love them both. They're both such geniuses.
Of the 4 Alien directors, is there one that you'd like to team up with again, whether it was for Alien 5 or just another movie in general? Aside from James Cameron, because she's doing the Avatar 2, 3, 4, whatever. But, I mean, do you want to work with any of them again?
Yes, I'd work with all of them again. I think if someone does Alien 5, it should be a new director.
A new director? If there's any young directors out there, there you go. No? Oh, come on. Okay. These are hard because they want you to be judgmental, so I'm skipping that one. Did you send it in? I'm sorry. Sorry. We have to be fair, these people did. Jason C. from Calgary. Oh, we're going to talk about it. I love that. This is one of my personal favorites of yours. You're here! Excellent, dude! Apparently, Jason C. has worked with gorillas in the zoo, and his interest in primates was first spurred by Gorillas in the Mist. And it's one of my favorites. It was amazing. And Jason says a lot of people learned about Diane Fossey through your portrayal. And what was your experience like on the film and with the live gorillas, not the fake ones?
Well, it was an amazing experience. I'm so glad. Aren't they the most amazing animals, Jason? Really? Yeah. You know, to go over to Rwanda, and I spent about 2 months just going up with the Gorilla Group 5, which was Diane Fossey's study group, with the amazing wildlife photographer Simon Trevor, who's still a friend of mine. And you know, it was just the 3 of us, Simon and a focus puller named Jamie and myself, and we would just go in every day and see what would happen. And we have like over 100 hours, at least, of footage that no one's seen that's still in the Warner Brothers vault, of huge things like interactions between 2 gorilla groups and all kinds of things. We've never been allowed to release them to the public or give them back to Simon so he could make films out of them. But it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I just remember, you know, I have such respect for gorillas. They're, you know, I think they're a higher life form than we are because they don't wage war and they, you know, they kind of just move through their spheres and they eat and they play and they, you know, reproduce, and that's, you know, they're very peaceful creatures. They've kind of figured it out. But I remember just every day being covered with these baby gorillas. I was always all over me, baby gorillas pulling my hair and urinating on me and pull my rucksack, and I remember thinking, you know, this must be what motherhood is like. I think I'd like to be a mother. And sure enough, I had a little baby gorilla myself eventually.
Jason, what do? You work at the Calgary Zoo, or? Yeah, excellent. Were you ever afraid? Did you ever have a moment on set where it's like, oh, I mean, because they're strong and scary.
Well, some of the footage that is in that vault quarters is one day when I got up there and for whatever reason, the big silverback that I tried to be close, there were two silverbacks. One was named Ziz, he was about 450 pounds.